Kalimera, Kalispera, whatever time you are watching, this is Mappa. It's another special one, but we always do specials. And you know that one day we're going to take over whether you like it or not. I'm Stel. Sotiris here is my co-host. And the gentleman below, this guy's a baller. When I tell you, technique, skill, vision, strength, shooting ability, he's a full package. Bassel Jradi. Champion at Apollon. Welcome, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm good. Just chilling with my family here in Copenhagen. Everything is good.
That is a beautiful view, man. I love the scenery. I love the blue skies. Just like Limassol, yeah?
Yeah, the same weather.
It's like
Lovely. just like Cyprus, yeah, just like Cyprus. Well, bro, thank you for taking the time to join us. I know you're a busy man, and right now, I guess that you're searching for a new club. So I don't want to stand in your way and take your time and everything. But let's start from the beginning. And you're from Denmark, but with Lebanese heritage. Can you tell us a bit about your background?
Yeah. So my father, he fled the war in Lebanon in the 80s, I think it was, and he came to Denmark with his brothers, and then he went to Lebanon and got married with my mother and came here and started a family here. So I'm born and raised here in Copenhagen, and I lived here my whole life until I moved out to Norway to play at 21. So I'm born and raised here in Denmark with Lebanese parents.
So what was it like growing up? Because obviously people in Denmark look different to people like us, they don't have the dark hair, the dark eyebrows. How was it like growing up in schools and everything?
No, to be honest with you, it was difficult. It was how do you say it? People like to say ghetto and make it sound like they had a tough upbringing. I had a good upbringing. My life was good, but we lived in a ghetto, whatever you want to call it, with a lot of foreigners. So when you went to school or went to football, it was different with the Danish kids. For me, you didn't really have the same interests. You didn't talk the same way. You were just different, So you always felt that. But besides that, it was good. Everything was fine,
No worries. And just another personal question, if you don't mind me asking. What about the religious side of things? Are you and your family religious people?
We are Muslims in my family.
Right.
Yeah, we're not very, very religious, but we are Muslims.
Yeah, the reason why I asked is because I had a feeling that might play a part in the difficulty you had in you growing up in that country. I know Denmark is very multicultural, but there's still that element of, you're a different religion, different race. You might get treated a bit different,
Yeah, I think it's like that everywhere. If you're not from the country. If you do something as a foreigner here in Denmark, it's different than if a Danish person does it, So it's a bit different.
So, bro, do you celebrate Ramadan and do you fast and all that as well?
I don't fast, but many in my family they fast.
Okay,
I should do it maybe next year, but
well, listen, it's a life choice. I mean, I work with a Muslim charity called Nujum Sports, and they're doing very, very well in terms of giving the religion more inclusivity. They've got deals with the Premier League, the Dutch Football Association, and I'm interested to know how Muslim players in Christian countries, so for example, Cyprus, Denmark, etc., how they're treated in terms of, are they given the opportunities to pray? Are they given the opportunities to break their fast? Are they treated with a bit more dignity and respect as they should?
To be honest, in the teams where I was, there's been respect. In Hadjuk Split, we had a player, Hamza Berry. He was fasting, and nobody said anything to him like don't fast, don't do that or anything. It was the same in Apollon. We had Hamas, Haitam Alessani, Dabo. Hope I didn't forget anyone, but yeah, they were fasting and there was no issue from what I know.
Excellent. Cool. Brilliant. All right, well, let's talk about your football career then. Started out obviously in Denmark through various academies I've seen. Who were your football idols when you were growing up?
I had Phenomenal, R9. That was number one, and for me, it still is number one.
What about the player in your position then? Because
My position, I liked Özil a lot. Özil and Kaká. Those two players I liked a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they were incredible. Kaká was just unbelievable. That at Milan he was ripping it to shreds. I know he didn't have it particularly great at Real Madrid, but yeah, and Ronaldo, honestly, you can't talk about the guy, man. Like, he's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
What about
another player who would cut his knee and be out for 2 years and come back and win the Ballon d'Or? Nobody would.
Exactly. So yeah, so you broke through various teams in Denmark, but I guess you kind of had the. Would you say the breakthrough was Nordsjælland in Norway? Would that be fair to say?
No, it was my childhood club. B93 is called. It's a traditional club in Denmark. It's more than 100 years old, and they were always in the best leagues, like in the early days. And then they went down, but the youth academies was always good. They always produced good talents who played outside. So I was there, and I got my breakthrough there. Then I went to AB Copenhagen, who was in the second division in Denmark at 17 or 18. I played good a season, and then Nordsjælland bought me.
Yeah, because Nordsjælland are doing very well in Denmark, especially with the Right to Dream project with Tom Vernon, I believe.
Yeah.
Was that a club that obviously you knew about? Obviously you did know about the club, but did you know about the project at the time when you joined them?
Yeah, I knew they didn't have Right to Dream at that time, but it was always
a
club.
Okay.
Yeah, it was always a club who produced talents and focused on young players. So at that age, I was 18, 19. I had good offers outside as well. But my father, he told me, Nordsjælland, that's the team who produce young players. So go there.
Was it 2014, 2015 when the transfer was done? Yeah.
Yeah, I went 2014 to Norway.
So in terms of when you were growing up, playing at academy level, youth level, and then moving to Nordsjælland, were there any particular coaches that you felt helped you develop as best as you did?
So I had in Norway, I had Kasper Hjulmand, who's the national team coach of Denmark now. He didn't play me a lot, but he taught me a lot of things in the early days. Like when you play in the lower divisions as a youth player, you don't get the basics or whatever you call it, of top football, of professional football. You can dribble, you can make the panas, you can play kind of street football, but in professional football it doesn't work. So he taught me about timing in the runs, behind the space, orientation, looking around you, and those things that I didn't learn before. He was the one who put it in my head. So he taught me a lot.
I find it impressive how Denmark has produced so many attacking quality players. Obviously the Laudrup brothers were standout, Christian Eriksen, various others. So I guess, attacking football is at the forefront of Danish football history, I guess, or DNA, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, when I was younger, it wasn't like that. It was more like a defensive kind of football, like physically running, that kind of football. And the players you mentioned, they all left early. They left early from Denmark. They were so good, but they wanted to leave early, I think, and they had the good offers like Eriksen and Laudrup and those players, and they went to the right clubs, But it wasn't like that in general in Danish football. It wasn't an offensive league. It was more defensive and physical.
Okay. And as for the squad at Nordsjælland, what was it Runarsson that was there? That's at Arsenal. Was he there?
Which one?
The goalkeeper, the Icelandic goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was there actually. He was there. He was, I think, at that time he was very young. He was the third goalkeeper or something. He was very young when he came. And I actually had his father as a coach up in Norway too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's another player in your squad with the surname Laudrup. Was he related to the?
It was his son. Yeah.
Son.
Yeah.
Right. So did you think that the lad was under any pressure to achieve big things in football because of his parents? I mean, we've seen Lampard, we've seen Cruyff.
For sure. He had his father was Laudrup. You know, in Denmark, Laudrup is the king. So it was difficult for him, I think. But he was a good player and a very, very humble and nice guy. So you couldn't feel that it was his son. You know what I mean? He was always a good guy, and some of the things he did on the pitch, you could see he was the son of his father. You know, he had the chip behind the line that Laudrup used to do. He did it as well. So you could see some similarities.
Nice, brilliant. So you then moved to Strømsgodset in Norway.
Yeah.
And there was another player there who's at Arsenal now, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, Martin Odegaard.
There you go. Now, we know that he was a wonder kid. We know that he went to Real Madrid and then was it Sociedad, I think, and then he ended up at Arsenal. Was he that good as a kid?
He was crazy. He was at 15. He was he was joking around with players who was 30. You know, players who've been in the game for a long time. He was 15 and he was doing whatever he wanted. So no, it was good.
So when he was at 15 years old, he was training with the first team.
Correct.
Crazy.
Yeah.
There are levels. But so I guess you weren't surprised that he achieved so much in such a short space of time. When you do see talented players, especially at that age, you always think it could go one way or the other. It could go really, really well for him, or he will go to a big club and just fall off because of the pressure. But he hasn't done that. You know, at Real Madrid, he didn't get many opportunities. He did well in Sociedad, and now he's come to Arsenal, captain, challenging for the title, captain of Norway, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you always hear a lot of hype with young talents when they are doing something special. There's always a lot of hype. And I think that hype can break a player or make him. Like with him, he went to Real Madrid. It was the toughest move you can make. In his position, I think he had Özil at that time.
Yeah.
And Kaká on the bench, and then Isco, and, you know, crazy players. So for sure it was difficult for him. But also he learned a lot, I think. So it helped him now. And now you see, I think he's 24, 23, I don't know. But he's captain of Norway and captain in Arsenal as well. He's playing good.
Yeah, for sure. And then you moved to Lillestrøm, where, if I'm not mistaken, you played with Ludemo. That was at Apollon a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but did you ask him about Cyprus before you joined Apollon?
To be honest, I don't remember. The guy who brought me to Apollon was a player who was there before, who's my good friend still, Marco Tagbajumi.
Okay.
He worked with Nicolas Teles. So I talked to him about Cyprus, and he told me it's amazing and blah, blah. I was a little skeptical, you know. I felt, I didn't know, but I felt Cyprus was a league for plus 30 players who wanted to just enjoy life, get the money and finish. I was 27 at that time, so it was Marco. I don't know if I talked to Lundemo. I don't remember.
And again, if memory serves me correctly, at Lillestrøm, you played with Frode Kipper, the centre-back that played at Liverpool.
Yeah. Schipper.
Yeah. So it's remarkable how all these players that have played in various leagues, and especially Premier League, you've played alongside them. Maybe you'll be in the Premier League soon, bro. You never know.
Bro, it's too late, man. I'm 29
now. Nah. It's never too late.
From Apollon Limassol to Premier League at 29.
Why not?
Why not? 45
Why
goals,
not, man?
Yeah,
Why not?
You never know.
Okay, so you then went to Croatia with Hadjuk Split.
Yeah.
Massive club. Was that when Trametsani was head coach when you went there?
He came my last 6 months there.
The last 6 months. Yeah. Okay. Because
I didn't really have him as a coach because we didn't agree on a contract in Hadjuk Split, so I got sent to the B team with the captain and another player. They had like a policy: if you don't sign a new contract, you go on the B team to your last season.
Okay.
So I didn't really have him as a coach. besides one
Was
month.
was Valerio Zudas there at the time? The
Valerio?
coach. He was an assistant, or he was part of the
No,
coaching staff.
he had a, I don't remember, man, a short guy. I don't remember his name. Attila was his.
Right. Okay. So undoubtedly, Hadjuk Split is probably at the time the biggest club you played for. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. By far. I mean, it's not many who knows the club nowadays, but in Croatia, Hadjuk Split is with Dinamo Zagreb. It's something else.
Yeah.
Here in Denmark, you keep talking about Brøndby and Copenhagen, and I haven't played at those clubs, but I know the fan base. I know people from there, players who play there. For me, you cannot compare Hadjuk Split with those clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, looking at the squad, Jairo was there at the time, who's done incredible at Bassel. Gyurcsó, that's smashing it at AEK, and Runya, the central defender that was with Omonia before. So there's still a Cypriot link.
Which player?
Ivan Runya.
Yeah, I played with him in Norwegian as well. We didn't play
together,
Hadjuk, but we played in Norwegian together.
Yeah, so he was at Omonia. So in terms of Gyurcsó and Jairo, I don't think you're surprised to see how well they're doing in Cyprus.
No.
Jairo especially. Jairo has been a beast, especially this season gone.
The first thing I said when I came to Apollon was try to bring these two players, and they tried. They called Hadjuk, and things didn't go. Yeah, they were in talks. I don't know if I'm saying too much, but yeah,
No.
I told them they bring these two players, and I think they tried. So then they went to Paphos and AEK, and you see they're both doing amazing. So it's good.
Bassel, when you played with Jairo at this time, was he a striker or a winger?
For me, he's much better as a striker. For me personally, I think if you ask him, he would say the same.
Because I think in Paphos was his first season as a professional player that he played as a striker.
Yeah, he also played some games in Hadjuk as a striker, and he was always playing good there. We had one coach, we called him Six, who had a system like diamond, and the two up front could be wingers, strikers, like wherever there was space. And with him, he was playing in the striker, and I think he scored 11 goals or something. So, yeah, striker is his best position.
Okay. Going back to Hadjuk Split, if I'm not mistaken, back at this time in 2021, was it 2021? Before you joined Apollon, was it?
From 2018 to 21, yeah.
Okay. So you were at your peak at this point, right? At your peak of your career.
Yeah.
So why you didn't want to sign a new contract with them? Was it do you thought that could be any better offers or?
Yeah, to be honest, those years I was there was very, very tough. It was bad results, and like I said before, the fan base is crazy. So after 3.5 years, the players, they like burn out. You know, if you're not getting the results, it's burning out. And yeah, there was some things that happened inside of the club that made me want to try something else. So yeah, that's why I went to Apollon.
And then Apollon, yeah.
Yeah.
Who approached you? How it happened? Do you remember anything? Can you tell us anything?
Yeah, to be honest, I was playing Call of Duty with a friend, with Marco, talk about Yumi. And,
Come on.
And I asked him, you know, because at that time I was hearing a lot from Cyprus agents. I talked to most of the clubs, to be honest, in Cyprus before I went to Apollon. And I was very skeptical. I thought I could go to a better league at that time. And I think I could if I waited some more. I signed very early. But anyways, I talked to Marco, and he told me very good things. And it's a good league, and the money is good, and nice country, and blah, blah, blah. So that's why I went to Apollon.
And then, first 3 games, 3 goals, 2 in Europa Conference League.
Yes.
Did you thought anything about that before you signing? Is it any better start? Could be any better start?
To be honest, without sounding arrogant or something, I knew if I played my position, number 10, because I was playing as a midfielder in Hadjuk, central midfielder mostly, and it's not my position. So it was one of my demands to come to Apollon. I told Petros that I'm a number 10, and if you want me as a player, you use me as a number 10. So I knew if I played that position that I can do good things. So I was happy at that time.
Nice.
Bro, you came to the Cypriot League from a very competitive Croatian league. You mentioned that there were some clubs interested in you from Cyprus. I'm not going to ask which clubs because it wouldn't be fair. But did the opportunity to play European football have a big impact on your decision to join Apollon?
To be honest, the biggest impact was Zorniger. When I heard he was coming, I don't think I would have signed if I didn't hear he was coming, to be honest. I know him from Brøndby, and I know what he did in Brøndby. He took them from the bottom to the top that year. So you hear a lot about him in Denmark and that. So I knew when he came, it would be professional and there wouldn't be any issues, you know. So when he signed, I was like, okay, I would like to play there.
Was the target to win the title in the first season? Because as you know, in Cyprus, well, maybe you didn't know this before you came, but it's a very chaotic league. Managers get sacked left, right, and center. I mean, Odegaard had 7 managers this season, which tells you need to know about Cyprus. So, what was the target for Mr. Zorniger to win the title at the first attempt?
Yeah, it was something we talked about from the first weeks. You know, every team, I think they sit in the preseason and they make the goals for the season, and almost every player said winning the title, and that was it, you know.
I remember Apollon ran Omonia close to the season before. They were very close to winning the title the year before, and it was a performance away against Olympiacos with 2 games to go where they drew, and Omonia beat AEK away from home, which gave, because I'm an Omonia fan, sorry, but you know, it gave us the title. But I think the injury to Dingini really hurt Apollon that season because he was banging in goals left, right, and centre. Then he got the ACL, and it kind of fell off. So when you look at the squad, when you joined, you know, Jovanovic, fantastic goalkeeper, Roberge, fantastic centre-back. You had Hamas, you had Mavrias with the experience. Then you had Hambo in the middle of the park, Spoljaric. And then obviously others like Gadelari and Gol. There's an array of talent, obviously Bitta. So you've gone to this club thinking, right, we're going to make a go of it at the title, which is great. But then it came to the playoffs. And I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Obviously, my team weren't going to win it. Apoel were running you guys close. I'm thinking, please, Apollon, win the title. I can't have Apoel winning the title. And you were drawing and drawing and drawing. And then which game was it that you lost in the playoffs? Was it
Paphos? I think Paphos first. Yeah.
Paphos at home.
Yeah.
Man. Then you drew with Anorthosis. And then you played Apoel. What happened with that time? Because, as I said, you're drawing, losing. Was the confidence low at the time? Or did you guys believe that it would click eventually?
Like you say, it's the pressure comes, you know. I was injured at that time. I just did my surgery. But I could feel the vibes in the team, you know, because it was 16 years the club haven't won. And I think we were like 9 points in front at the playoffs, in the beginning of the playoffs. And then you could just see every round, Apoel was getting closer. And we were not playing good. So I think it was the pressure and also a lot of injuries throughout the whole season. I don't think from start to finish that we played with the strongest team any game, to be honest. So that season we had too many injuries, and that's why I think it was close. Because if you ask me, if we had the strongest team from start to finish, I think it wouldn't be close. That's my honest opinion.
Well, you were 9 points clear at the start of the playoffs, as you quite rightly mentioned. So if you had a full strength squad, I'm sure you'd have won it much sooner. But this is a question which I don't want to take any credit away from the players, because clearly you guys were on the pitch, winning the games, winning the title. But how much of an influence was Zorniger in that respect? Because obviously when you're going through a rough patch, but you've got a coach that has won titles before, you know, and he's been around the block, so to speak. Did it help having him there? Was he the motivation that you guys needed, or was it the fans?
I think it was a mix of everything. I don't think you can say the players won it, the coach won it, or the fans won it. It was a mix of everything. And in football, you need luck. You always need luck. And we had, for example, the game against Anorthosis, where they get a penalty. I think it was 90th minute or something. I don't remember if Warda or someone else they were shooting, and Jova, he saved it. That game, if Anorthosis win it, they would also be in the title race, you know, and I think we would drop down to second position. I'm not sure. But those type of games, they can decide the league. And Jova, he saved the penalty in the 90th minute or something. And so you need luck. You need luck to win a title. Yeah.
And there was the same game away against Anorthosis where Dabo scored in injury time.
Exactly. So, we had many. We also had the opposite where we were in front, and then in the end, the other team scores. Like the 90th minute, we get a draw instead of a win. With Ike, for example, Ike away. So, yeah, to win the title, you need the luck, and you need to be good too, of course. So we had that, and it was a mix of the coach, the players, and the fans who came in the end, you know.
Absolutely. So, talk to me about the Apollon game then. You're going into this one. I think they were a point behind or 2 points behind. I can't remember. So you guys, I mean, I don't know. Did you play in that game? Did you play in that one?
I played from the first two games in the playoff, and then I got my meniscus.
Right, yeah. So I think it was Spogliarets and goal in the middle of the park, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay. So I'm guessing you were in and around the club at the time, obviously getting your treatment. So what are the players talking about in the build-up to the game? Because obviously, you know, if you lose this one, chances are Apollon will go on to win the league because they got the momentum. But you guys, they were possessed. You guys were possessed. I was watching that game. I'm like, who is this team? Where have they come from? I couldn't believe it.
No, it was... I remember the game before Apoel, they beat a team at Sirio. I don't remember who. And they were celebrating like they won the title. I remember that in Limassol, there was fireworks, and I remember the coach, he used it as motivation. There was a picture of them celebrating in the locker room, you know, and like they're celebrating like they won the league. So
they beat Aris 2-1. It was when they beat Aris 2-1. Yeah.
And that's the game. I think we lost or drew, so there was 1 point. If they won that game, probably they would have taken the league. So it was a big motivation for the players, from how I remember it. And to be honest, that game, Apoel, they killed us the first 20-30 minutes. And then, again, we had some luck, and we scored our chances. They didn't, and we took the 3 points.
For sure. So you win the game. Effectively, the title's wrapped up. You get... Who's it you played the following game? Was it Aris? You beat 4-1, which secured the title, and pitch invasion. Were you in the dressing room after the game celebrating?
Yeah, of course.
I need to ask
my
you.
Surgery, I couldn't run, but everybody was flying around, you know, so it was crazy.
I need to ask you this. I'm sure you've been asked this before, but that moment where Gol and Gadelari started singing and it ended up on television... that was brilliant though. I must admit, I was very entertained by that. Were you there? Did you see it happen?
Yeah. No, both. I don't remember if I was there, but everybody saw the video after. It was crazy.
Was it
especially these two? They are comedians. They are too funny in the dressing room.
What were they like then? Because you just mentioned they're comedians. I know Gol is a bit funny, you know, can be funny. I didn't think Gadelari was like that because he's a very stern-faced guy, but maybe behind the scenes, he's a different character.
Yeah, on the pitch, he's a beast, but outside, he's a funny guy. You know, he likes to joke around and this and that.
He is.
Yeah.
So you know him, don't you?
Yeah. So
Sotiri knows Gadelari. There you go.
Radi,
small world.
I want to talk a bit more about Alexander Zorniger because opinions differ about the relationship he had with the players, with you guys. So I want you to tell us a bit more. Did you guys actually have a good relationship with the coach? Because
I think it depends on every personality and every player and the team. If you ask him, maybe he would say different. If you ask me personally, my relationship was always good with him. Always. I like people who are direct. Maybe it's because I come from Denmark, but here in Denmark, and in the northern countries, if a coach he have something, he will tell you to your face. You know what I mean? Where I feel in Cyprus, some of the other coaches I had, it was more like zigzag. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So in the dressing room, the environment and everything was okay.
Sorry,
Like,
I have to cancel this. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So in the dressing room, the environment and everything seems to be okay. Was it everything okay, right?
Yeah, the dressing room was amazing that year.
Okay.
Completely different the second year, but the first year we won the title, it was amazing.
So what do you think has changed between this first year and the second year? Was it the coach? Was it the players, the personalities, the leaders?
Yeah, you know, if you talk about that, you're fucking certain people, you know, and that's not why I'm here. So, no, I will say it was different, completely different the second year than the first year. Different characters, different mentality. Everything was different from the first year to the second year. Playing style, characters in the team, mentality, like I said, training. It was for me, if you ask me, the first year and the second year is two different clubs. Apollon.
Jekyll and Hyde, two characters, wasn't it? Two completely different characters.
Two completely different teams.
The thing is, I'll be honest with you, maybe it's because I come from the UK and this doesn't ever happen in England, in the sense that when a manager wins a title, he never gets sacked after winning the title. But Cyprus is a different world, so I shouldn't have been surprised. But you being a player coming from Denmark, where that stuff doesn't really happen, Croatia, where I can't remember that ever happening. What was it like for you thinking, like, these guys just won us the league? What's going on?
Yeah. You know, they had their issues, I think. For sure, some things happened behind the scenes. So you felt it coming a bit as a player, but you could see it. But for the outside,
you weren't surprised.
No, I was not really surprised. You know, there was also the interview after the game against the Israeli team. After that interview, you kind of knew that probably it's finished. You know.
Fair enough. Well, by the sound of it, a lot happened with the coaches. Various changes. Gadala came in. That didn't seem to work out. There was a couple more changes, and Bogdan came in. We're not going to really talk about that too much. But what I want to know, mate, in terms of your experience overall with the club, and I'm talking about on the field and also with the fans. Obviously, you played European football. You won the title, won the Super Cup. You beat my team, and I had a meltdown that night. I'm not going to go into that. But, you know, it just seemed that your time was kind of, I wouldn't say spoiled or ruined a little bit by whatever happened behind the scenes. But I think given your ability, I mean, every time Omonia played Apollon, obviously I was thinking about Bitar and the threats from wide areas. But I thought when Jradi's on the ball as a number 10, he'll kill you when you give him space. And you scored a goal against us where you twisted Juste and put it in the top bin. And I was always saying, this guy has got a rocket of a shot. He's got ability. And I think, you know, you are undoubtedly one of the best players I've seen in the Barcelona in the last 5-10 years, for sure.
No, thank you. To be honest, it's, in football, people forget, you know, when you get injuries, people look at the last season. So you asked me what if I look at my whole time in Apollon. For me, it's very simple. It's 2 years. The first year was amazing, even though I had my surgeries. I was injured, but I was still happy in the club, still happy in the team, you know. I wanted to win as much as the players who was playing from the stands. And that's not normal, you know. Mostly, when you're not playing, you're kind of, how you say, like you want to be a part of it, you know. That time I was just, I want us to win all together. Second year, shit.
Different story, bro. Different story. Well, we've done almost 35 minutes, bro. I don't want to take up too much of your time because obviously I said you're a busy guy and, you know, maybe you don't want to be talking to us too much because we can ask questions all day. So Didi, have you got any more questions? Because I've got some quick fire questions that maybe
so I would like to ask you first of all about your best goal Was it that goal against Omonia the best goal of your career so far?
No, I wouldn't say the best.
Or in Cyprus?
In Cyprus, I like the one against Apollon the most, the volley.
Okay.
Personally, I like that more than the long shot, because I've had many long shots throughout my career now. That one, the volley, I liked it more.
Nice.
Bro, you know that there's a strong Lebanese influence in Cyprus, as I'm sure you've seen, right? So while you were out there, did you experience the Cypriots way of cooking Lebanese food, and did it impress you?
Yeah, I went to some restaurants. You got Cleopatra in Limassol. That was a good one. Yeah, and you have the other one, I forget the name, Manouche, I think it is. It's the same.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Lebanese food and Syrian food, so I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Excellent. And how would you rate Bitta's evolution over the past couple of years? Because obviously I don't think you knew him before you came to Cyprus, but seeing him last season and this season, what's impressed you most about him?
No, with him is the goals, that you can stack up goals every season is a good quality to have. So, no, that was, I don't know, he scored 15 the last year, I think. How many?
18.
Something like that, yeah, 18.
The year before this season.
Before, yeah.
And this year. So, with him, it's goals, you know what you get, it's goals.
Okay. So if we talk about your teammates, right? You mentioned Gol and Gadelari in terms of their funny traits. Let's say, for example, you were going to go on a night out with your teammates. Was there one person that you'd think, oh my God, if we go out, right, he's a liability? Do you know what I mean? He's the kind of person that turns up late, or he doesn't wear shoes when you're meant to wear shoes to go into a bar or a club or whatever. Is there a teammate that was like that?
No, not that I remember. I remember the funny ones, the crazy ones. For me, number one, it was Djanga. Number one after winning the title was Djanga. From the moment we won until we went on vacation, he was on fire, And in the season, he was the most professional guy. He came before everybody else and left after everybody else. So for me, Djanga was number one.
Brilliant. And what were the title celebrations like with the fans? Because I'm assuming wherever you went, you'd have Apollon fans coming up to you saying thank you. What was that like for you?
No, it was crazy. You could feel it was something they waited for a long time, 16 years. And the years before, Apollon was closed. So, no, it was a very nice time.
Okay. And in terms of places you went in Cyprus, I assume you went out in Limassol quite a bit. Did you have a favorite place, like a coffee shop or a restaurant or a bar, anything like that?
Oh, Colombia Beach is
Everyone tells me that. Colombia Beach. Everyone says that when they're in Limassol, bro. That's fine. I'll give you that. Because I love Limassol. I go there quite regularly. Well, when I'm out in Cyprus anyway. In fact, I love the whole of Cyprus. But when I was younger, I spent most of my time in Limassol. Relatives were there, and we used to go to Ladies Mile, even Gurion, which is slightly outside of Limassol. But yeah, everyone talks about Colombia Beach, but no one talks about Rumors. Did you ever go to Rumors?
Yeah, Rumors is nice too. Rumors was nice too. Good place, my friend, good vibes, good music, and it was chill.
My friend Chris DJ's there.
Yeah?
There, I'm sure. Yeah. DJ
no,
STS.
I went there a few times. Nice.
No, excellent. Well, bro, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we can do something again in the near future. I didn't ask you about representing your national team. What was that like? Must have been a huge honor, right?
Yeah, for sure. I played for Denmark my whole youth, so it was different when I went to play for the Lebanese national team. It's a big honor, of course, always it is.
Fantastic. And on the final, go on.
I would like to ask, when you are in Apollon, who was the player that impressed you? Who had the most quality as a football player in the squad in both years?
I think Robbie was even his age with the ball, he's one of the best defenders I played with. He have the best pass between the lines, and as a number 10, you like that, you know. So I would say Robbie.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Bassel, thank you again for joining us, bro. Are there any messages you'd like to send to the Apollon fans before we wrap it up?
No, I wrote it on Instagram.
Okay.
Thank you for everything, and you know, it's the past. Now we move forward.
The message is check my Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be back very soon. We've got an Instagram account at This Is Mappa. We've got a Twitter account, and that's about it. So from us, it's adios.